Hello everyone and welcome to this new webinar format called the CATIA Design Masterclasses. In this format, our CATIA expert will discuss the special features of our software in detail to help you innovate in your daily job and take your design to the next level. Today, we're going to dive into our legacy software, ICEM Surf, the industry-leading tool for explicit geometric modeling and Class A for over 30 years, as in November 2024, the new ICEM Surf release for this year was launched publicly, with many improvements and updated features, from modeling to visualization, including UI, UX, diagnoses, and data workflows. Our R&D team has done a beautiful job of making them available to our user community. And so to discuss these upgrades, I have the pleasure of welcoming Nick McFerran, ICEM Surf expert from the CATIA design team. Hello, Nick.
Good morning, Alan.
It's good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. As usual, could you briefly introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Yes, of course. My name is Nick McFerran, based in the UK. I've worked for Dassault Systèmes in the CATIA Design IPS team for about 9 years now. Before I came to Dassault, I worked in many famous names in the UK automotive industry in the Class A departments. I learned ICEM Surf first in 1997, so that's a good number of years to get familiar with the software.
Yeah, that's why you're called as a real expert in our team. So before to start, I just want to remind viewers that they can reach out to us during this session by asking their questions in the chat, because we'll take some time at the end to answer them. So let's move on now, because I think people are eager to discover what's new in this release.
Sure. So, as you probably know, we have three main surface refinement offers from Dassault Systèmes. Over on the right here, we have CATIA ICEM. So this is ICEM shape morphing, ICEM shape design, which you have in CATIA V5 and also in CATIA 3D Experience. In the middle here, we have our new tool, the ICEM Design Experience. We call it IDX. So this is our new CAS and Class A modeling tool just on 3D Experience. But today we're here to discuss our friend ICEM Surf, our legacy standalone tool with the legendary quality of explicit modeling. So this year has been very exciting because we're really pushing hard on education. We are offering an ICEM Surf Learning Edition for self-learning, but I'll tell you more about that later. So each year we ask our beloved users, our customers, to come to us with enhancements for ICEM Surf. So you can see over the years all the little enhancements are coming in. And in 2025, we've had 38 enhancements, one new product and one new command. And they're mostly coming in from this collection of famous names, our customers and users you see here. So let's take a look at the product portfolio. So we've had a couple of changes this year. We've added a step interface. We call it K28, so that's brand new. And over on the right, I already mentioned it, the Personal Learning Edition right here. So the Learning Edition actually gives you access to all of these modules, so Magic and Master, I won't read them out, but almost all of the modules are included in the ICEM Surf Learning Edition for you to explore and try. So let's jump into the highlights. So I'm not going to read off this big list for you. So in the presentation today, I'm going to pick out a few of my favorites. And I'll tell you at the end how you can actually find out exactly what all of these do online later. So jumping right in, so this was an enhancement request from an old friend of mine, one of my former life. So Corner Blend, as you know, is in Advanced Tools. It's a huge accelerator to your workflow, allowing you to build a corner blend across 3 fillets. But one thing it was missing was the minimum radius detection. So you can see in the Corner Blend Diagnostic, you can just switch on your minimum radius and you get a graphical feedback instantly on the surface that's generated. So this will help you get it right first time. Okay, trimming and facing. So in faces, we've recently added the limitation extrapolate. So that's to make the knife a little bigger if it needs to make the face correctly. And in trim, we've had the extrapolate option, extrapolate base patch. So somebody suggested, why not have each do both? So in both facing and trimming, we've got extrapolate base patch and limitation extrapolate. Centerline symmetry, a two-sided type of centerline symmetry. This is a really nice one. So I'm just going to jump into ICEM Surf here. There we are. So this is live ICEM Surf. So if I want to make a symmetry, previously we only had one-sided, but we now have two-sided symmetry. So for example, if let's just have a look at this. So I'm on Y0. So if I select this plane here and go with the OK, there we go. So that is about Y0. But notice if I change that to current plane, so this is inverted Y0. If I now say OK, see what happens. It goes the other way. So you'll see on the selected plane, the Z normal points to the side that stays the same. It's the opposite side that moves. So in this case, we really want it to be Y0. Okay. Similar to centerline symmetry, we also have a symmetry modeling. We've been asked about this many times. In unified modeling, we've been able to do symmetric modeling, where you pull a control point on one side of the patch and you can work it on the other. I'm just looking for it. Okay, well, we can just do it right here. So if I just go into control points like this, I can pick this patch and switch on my symmetry. I can choose again my plane. In fact, what I'm going to do this right. I'm going to make this symmetrical on the top, first of all. There we go. Let's do this one. That's symmetric. And then I'm going to make a small change to that with a control point mod. So here's symmetry, and I'm going to go for here. And now with that switched on, you'll notice if I just pick the row here, it's doing that real-time cross symmetry, so I can then tidy up these control points as I like. And it works on curves and surfaces. So this is a really nice addition to classic control point modification in the standard ICEM Surf arrangement. So, okay, here's a little change we made to curve matching. Previously, we've had, when you do the both option, you've got both mean, but we've also added both shape. So let me just show you what that looks like. There we go. So if I want to do matching like so. Okay, so there's both mean. So this is what we always used to have, and that's what it does. You see both curves are changing quite dramatically. But now we've got both shape. You see it tries to keep the shape of the curve. This control point's hardly moving at all, but both of the curves are now matching with G1 continuity tangent. So that's both a shape. Okay, so right. Oh yeah. So for those of you that are doing a lot of work with scans, with scan modeling, previously you could only pick on the points or the edges of the facets. So what we've now done is we've added the ability to pick in the middle of the scan. So this is the middle of the scan facet. So what I recommend is that you switch your selection to scan auto, and basically you can pick anywhere you like on your scan data. So it just makes it a little bit easier to use, improve your workflow. Also to do with scan modeling, we've added the ability to automatically tidy up any little pieces. So in your scan check, you can set a limit of 10 millimeters, and then anything that falls within this 10 millimeter ball, it will consider small and tidy up. So here it is in action. So if we go into check scan, we can pick it. And then here we go, we're going to go for small components. We set it to 10 and away we go. And if you zoom in here, you can see that it's identified these little pieces of scan data. So with all you need to do now is you hit the repair button and it will remove them for you. So you just click on the repair.
So these are really automation improvements, actually, to save time for users. And what about the other things like safety analysis? Do you have other improvements regarding that?
Yes, of course we do, Alan. So we've added two new things to our wonderful safety analysis package. Grill analysis, this is the ability to, it's been specifically designed to analyze grills, because grills are special because they can have multiple components, and depending on how close they are together, the rules are different. You have sort of 3 zones. But previously we could only pick on the measure points. So these little bright dots here are where you could pick. So depending upon the accuracy that you've chosen, you may actually find parts of the model where there's a sort of space that you couldn't pick before. But now, in 2025, we can click on geometry. So this removes any limitation. So you can pick on any part of your model in the diagnostic area, and you'll get your feedback immediately with the spheres. And a bigger enhancement to safety analysis in 2025 is we've added a knee mode. So basically, we've added this green triangle, so a knee form, so we can then run that across the surface. So this is very typical for homologation in design studios. So here you see, here's the knee form, and I can rotate that through 30 degrees. Which is a standard procedure. So this is a great addition to safety analysis. You can see how it's blue, you can't reach it, and if it's green, it can, and it's okay. Right, so here's another little one, another diagnostic. So when you're in the sections menu, of course, it's easy to switch on curvature, but we've added the inspect button. This means that you can pick on your curvature diagnostic on your section like so, and you get an instant readout of what the curvature value actually is. And you can also right mouse on it, and you can save. So there's a little contextual menu there, so you can just pick out certain points and save multiple diagnostics. They're not persistent. When you leave the command, they disappear. Okay. There's a little one here. So I don't know how familiar you are with advanced fillet with autospine, but until this release, sometimes if it didn't work, you had to figure out why. Because it just said, no, it's not working. So we've added 4 helpful error messages to make it a lot more clear. If something's not working out, it'll give you a hint of what the problem is, so you can fix it and carry on. Another advanced fillet option here, we've added more of our variants. So, in a lot of the ICEM Surf commands, we can store our favorite things. So we could store a bunch of our favorite fillets, for example, and then you could give it a name, and then you get these quick access buttons on the bottom from V1 to V6. And you get a tooltip. So if you give it a name like Nick's favorite fillet, well, I wouldn't do that. But when you hover over the button, that's what you get to see here. But more interestingly, just to help with the workflow, we've now made it possible to add your variants, V1, V2, V3, to the keyboard shortcut menu, but also to the mouse menu. So I could imagine you might have a mouse menu specifically for filleting, and then you could have all your favorite fillets in one simple place, and then you never have to go to the menus to find them. You can just get them on your mouse menu. I think that's a really super little one. And similarly to regular matching, we've added, you can see here, so if you go through the menus, this is how the menus drive the keyboard shortcuts and also the mouse menu. So the quick function access is the proper name for this. So we've done that to matching as well. So consistency across the software. This is a super little one, the plus button. I'm sure many of you have done this where you're doing an operation and you're picking a bunch of curves or a bunch of patches and you realize you've missed one. So in some commands, you have to kill the command and restart it, which is super boring. So what we've done now is we've added the plus button to all of these commands, which means that you can remove from or add to your selection set whilst you're in the command. So again, just removing having to leave and restart commands more often. So time saving once more. This is a little one to do with selection and shading. So as you know, when you select a model in shaded mode, it goes this dark blue color. Okay, and it stays that dark blue color if you're still in shading. So what you can do now is on the preferences selection tab, you can switch this off, meaning that as soon as you've finished your selection, it goes back to the color that it's supposed to be. So we're giving our users the choice whether to go with the blue selection color or to go back to its natural assigned color for doing many different processes. Okay, I don't need to see that. Right. Okay, yeah, this is a nice one. So you often see the light symbols when you're working in ICEM Surf, don't you? And whether the model is shaded or not, previously it didn't matter, but they were always there. And sometimes they can be in the way a little bit distracting. So one of our customers said, hey, why don't you switch off the light symbols if the model isn't shaded? And we thought, hey, that's a great idea. So we added it to the model. So one of the options is to, so when your model's not shaded, the light symbols disappear. And you'll probably see that as I go through some other live demos. Hang on, wrong button. There we go. So, okay, here's one I really like, the move mirror plane selection option. So this has been enhanced very nicely. So just let me show you how it works. Here we are. So get rid of that. Okay. So here's a model, and I'm going to go to my move mirror like so. Okay, and I can choose which mirror I'm talking about. So if I choose Y0, and I'm going to pick everything here. So there's the preview. So that's mirroring around Y0, and everybody knows the steering wheel's not often in the middle of the car, is it? So we can now choose our plane. Okay, so my current plane, and switch the preview on. Oops. And okay, oh, yes, of course. Now I can say I want to select the correct plane. So I'm going to go for the steering wheel plane. Boom, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that nice? So it's just a simple thing, but it's dynamic as well. So if I wanted to do this for any reason, I could do that. But I can just go right mouse, select plane, steering wheel. Boom, there we are. Simple. Okay. So back to the story. So we've, as you remember, in 2024, we did a lot of work on the lighting menu, and we've improved that even further this year with extra little things. So we've added contextual menus, so you can right mouse on your lights, and you can right mouse on your HDRs, and more on that a little bit later. So just to make it a little more intuitive and easy to learn and get used to this new menu, because it's quite a big menu here. There's a lot going on. So this just makes it a little more easy to use, more consistent with the rest of the software. This is a lovely user requested enhancement for Reference Manager. So sometimes when you're in shaded mode, you can't tell what's reference data and what isn't if you've got no edges on display, for example. So in this case, so we've now added the option to Reference Manager dimming. So you can dim everything in Reference Manager to a certain setting. So the settings in the Reference Manager preferences. So we've just got a little slider here, and you can choose how dim it's going to get. So this is a nice way so you can just remind everybody this is live data and this is reference data. Right, here's another one I really like, the detail list. So this is something I use in IDX quite a lot. It's just a super simple one, but really valuable in my opinion. Alt-D, if I do Alt-D on the keypad, I get prompted to pick something. So let's pick this patch or face, and there we go. So it's like it's a shortcut to make a detail list. So everything else disappears, all the geometry disappears, and then I can do Alt-D and it returns to the mother one again. So I'll do that again. Alt-D, just pick some things, accept it, Alt-D, and it goes back again. And you'll see it also appears in the list tabs as well. So it's just it's a shortcut to a detail list. I really like it. It's a nice little touch. Okay, here's a tiny one. So when you make a new database in ICEM Surf, previously it was the floor plane that was default. We've now made Y0 the default plane. So it always used to catch me out when I make a new model and start sketching. I generally want it on Y0. So that's what our customers wanted. So we've changed it to be Y0. So that's for a new model. Here's a brilliant one. The brush tool and the toolbar has been added, this little brush here. So when you've got a large model, it's quite common that, you can make a little bit of a mess, to be honest. Let's see, where's my model? No, that's not what I wanted. Brush prop, here we go. So here you can see I've got some surfaces, curves, some bits and pieces. Oh, and by the way, look, if I switch off shading, I'll switch off the plane as well. If I switch off shading, look, the light symbols are disappearing. Okay, though that's actually working in action. Okay, but here we got some blue, we got some white and some other blues here. So what we want to do is I want to make them all consistent. So if I use the little brush here, if I must pick a target, so I pick this patch, so it's some sort of a bluey gray color with blue edges and control points. So that defines what things are going to be. And then I can just pick these objects and say, okay, and look at that. So it's a little bit like a spreadsheet function where you can copy format, you know, with borders and fonts and things, but it's in ICEM Surf, so it's an attribute painter. So that's a lovely thing. So it'll speed up you tidying up your models visually. Yeah, so you can see the different things it does when the different operations. So it works very intuitively. Okay, here's one that's very popular. A lot of people use Shift and Alt for navigation, rotation, and zooming in ICEM Surf. That's for historical reasons, old hardware issues, or third-party products. So we've now added the option to suppress the mouse menu because of muscle memory, people were finding this was popping up when they didn't want it to. So now we've given our users the ability to suppress this menu. But take note, everyone, if you want to suppress the mouse menu, you have to add an environment variable to your PC. Okay, so to enable this to appear, you need to set this environment variable to 1, and then this will appear, and then you need to switch it on or off. Okay, so because it's not there by default, I'll show you where it is. So if I go to Windows Preferences View, here. So this won't appear unless you set that environment variable. So if I switch that off, if I do Shift Alt, there's my view menu, which I quite like, I'll be honest with you. I use it quite often. Yeah, I just hold the Shift key for navigation. I don't do Shift and Alt. My fingers aren't long enough. So that's been added now. So remember that environment variable. I'll go back to the PowerPoint. There we go. So ICEM Surf Extended View mouse menu, set that to 1, and then this will appear, and then you tick the box and this won't appear. Okay, I hope that's clear. If you get troubles with that, just ask a question in the community and one of me or one of my guys will help you out. So here are 2 object manager improvements. Again, with models getting bigger and more complicated, and when you're taking your data into 3D Experience, it's because it understands the structure, it means that you really want to make the structure in ICEM Surf more tidy. You want good naming conventions, you want consistent materials, and so on. So these 2 enhancements to Object Manager make it a lot easier to organize your data. So we've added the context assign function, so you can assign things to other targets like so. So it's quick and easy. And similarly, we can make a new molecule from selection in the Object Manager. So I encourage you all to give that a try. The Object Manager is very, very powerful. You can do lots of things in here, and it's very, very useful for organizing your data and making sure that everything's as it should be. Okay, here's another one that I really like. Detail list from the material table. So if I go back to Surf, so let's see. I'm going to go into my material manager. If I select this sort of steely blue color, there it is, it's called Car 2. I can right mouse on it right here and go detail and check that out. So everything that was that material has been put into a detail list. Okay, and you can see it's got brush prop dash. That means it's a detail list. And then I can just do Alt D. So I can just click back on brush prop, but if I just do Alt D, it just takes me back to the parent list. So I really like that one. Quick and easy, because quite often that's exactly what you want to do, and it's just the fastest way to do it. Okay, back to here, right. Okay, yeah, I sort of covered this already. Okay, no, I haven't. You might have noticed that in the lighting menu, I've got this new button, and it puts a halo on the lights. So if I just go to the lighting menu, you can see that. All right, so you can see that light number 1 has got a halo around it, but this light over here doesn't. Okay, it's just a label to help you see what's what. So these are my lights. So if I just choose like so I can pick it from the list. So these halos are sort of jumping around my lights, or I can pick it in the graphical area too. Now, if you don't like that, you can switch it off with this little button right here. So you can switch off the light halo. So if you find you don't need it or don't want it, you can just switch it off. And then, of course, you've got the global on-off symbols right here for all of the lights. Okay. Okay, clip plane. Yes, we've done a lot of work on clip plane. So it used to look like this, not very friendly, a little bit hard to understand. What are all these numbers? Not really sure. So we've refreshed clipping plane. So we get instant access to your X, Y, and Z planes with just one click, because let's be honest, most people use these standard planes for the first shot. But you can also make a new plane based on the current plane and give it any color you like with different offsets and so on. And they're stored in your ICEM DB, and they're also stored elsewhere in the software, which I'll come to. Okay, here's one I don't use very often, but I'm sure many of you do, the backplate option. So if you have a backplate, these days monitors are getting bigger, aren't they? Wider with 4K, 8K, and so on. So they're getting big in different shapes and curved screens and so on. And so if you're working with a backplate, sometimes the image doesn't quite fit your monitor. So now we've got the best fit option, which will stretch the image to be your backplate. And we also have the blurring effect. So I don't think blurring is new, but it's one that I've not used before. So you can blur it out to have a blurry background. So there's a little enhancement to the backplates. Okay, we're coming up to, this is one of the big new things, the scene manager. Remember, over the last couple of releases, we've added the ability to have a material variant, a lighting variant, an environment variant. It's where you can set those situations up in a certain way and you can give it a name so that it's easy to come back to in the future. Okay, so what we've done is the scene manager is really helpful. Now I'm just going to show you on ICEM Surf. So I'm going to go to this one here. Okay, so here's a beautiful model that Angel Guerra gave us. So thanks Angel for that. So if we go into display options, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So we've got the lighting menu. So we've got lighting variants. We've got material variants. We've got environment variants and backplate or background options. And we have also turntables and things. So these are all selectable by the user. But what about if you want to choose a certain set every time? So here we've got a thing called a scene. So in CATIA 3D Experience, we call this, in product perception experience, we call this a stage. But here I've got some scenes stored off. So if I go for scene 2, okay, you'll see it's a certain combination of these selected things. Go for scene 3. It also includes a viewpoint. So we can really have some fun with this. So here we've got it in the hangar. So it records the environment and the HDR image that's used for reflections. And we even have this one here that I just made just for fun. Oh no, not lighting. I want this one here. Go for neon. Here we go. So what this means is you can save your favorite scenes. So maybe you've got particular viewpoints, particular environments for reflections, particular lighting. You can give it one simple name so it's super easy to come back to and just switch between. Okay, so I was having fun with the HDR lights here. So here's something I discovered. Every day is a school day, because this is something I didn't realize. But look, I didn't know that this ball tracks what you're doing on the screen. So I can then pick on this here, and let's do it for that one, and I can just I can move that up. So this is something I didn't use very often, but now I think it's really cool. So just takes a few seconds.
I really like this new feature as well. It's really time saving, and you can do nice renders and create nice point of views, and create really very nice things.
Some would say maybe I've overcooked it a bit, but I was just getting carried away. So but I really like the scene. It's all about the scene manager. Thanks, Alan. So okay, so that was the scene manager. We're nearly done now, everyone. So we've made a couple of enhancements to ICEM Surf HMD, that's K63, so the immersive VR for ICEM Surf. Just little things. Previously, if there was no geometry on the floor, you couldn't pick to relocate your Z rotation axis. You had to pick on the model. So what we've done now is we temporarily make a plane that you can pick across the environment. So there's no limitation now on how you define the rotation axis. So you see, I could just pick on the floor. It's now rotating about the floor. And also, when you did that, there was a sort of disturbing jump to the new viewpoint. So that doesn't happen anymore. You kind of, it doesn't move around when you change the Z-axis rotation. So that's a nice little comfort enhancement to K63. So that's the ICEM HMD add-on for virtual reality. I should also point out that you can do mixed reality in ICEM Surf if you have a mixed reality headset. So something like the Varjo XR3 or XR4, you need to switch off the shaded background and then the mixed reality effect kicks in. So there's a little tip for you. Okay. Yep, so we've added the step interface. Now, I don't use it very often, but some of our customers are very happy to have the step interface. So you've got all these different flavors of step that you can choose in the export step options. So here we are, we're making it more open to get things in and out of ICEM Surf. It also supports the ICE ability. So if you do batch conversions, you can batch convert large numbers of models from ICEM DB to step. So it just works just like the other interfaces. Here we are. So here's ICEM Surf Personal Learning Edition. I was very pleased that we managed to bring this to market last year. It's for students or for hobbyists or just the curious to download and try ICEM Surf for themselves at home. It's got all of these modules I mentioned before, so real-time rendering, safety analysis, advanced tools. So not everyone has all the modules of ICEM Surf. So this will allow them to have a little try to see if they like it. So you get it from software.3ds.com, and it takes you to a screen that looks like this. So you have to go to the free download area, and here's ICEM Surf. And you choose the version you want, and then you push the little download button, which appears over here. And away you go. There's a little video here telling you how to install it, and there's also a tutorial to getting started ICEM Surf, which is in the community. A couple of things it doesn't do. So K63, so virtual reality is not included, and the step interface is also not included. We have to keep some things back for the professional version. And also when you're working with it, you get a watermark at the bottom of the screen, Learning Edition, non-productive use. So this is for self-learning only. So you're not allowed to use this for creating professional models for commercial purposes. So it's released at the GA level each year with the full professional version of ICEM Surf GA, and it's based on it's exactly the same code, but it is watermarked. So if you load a Learning Edition model in regular ICEM Surf, it knows about it, and it sort of converts it into a Learning Edition. Okay, but it's been very popular. It's only been around a short time. We've had thousands of downloads of ICEM Surf Learning Edition 2024. So here's 2025 as well. So supporting the education of ICEM Surf around the world. Okay, so I mentioned before, those are all the modules. Okay, so there we are. So this is just a little snapshot of all of the enhancements in ICEM Surf 2025. Just leads me to remind you to please come and join our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community. This QR code will take you straight there. And when you go there, if I just click on, well, if I just click join, it's going to take me there. So I'm signed in already, but if you go to the wiki section, okay, so that's this green button right here. These are all my communities, but here's the wiki. And if I look down here under surface refinement, expand that and do surface modeling and then do ICEM Surf, dig down a little way. Here you've got ICEM Surf What's New. And you've got ICEM Surf 2025 right here. So thanks to Sylvain for putting this up here. So when the call is finished, you're going to see here all of the information, and even the stuff that I didn't show is going to be right here. And so is this video as well. So if you want to come back and revisit the video, you certainly can. So just to remind you, it's here. And I think we'll have another reminder later on in this call. But there we have it, everyone. So that was ICEM Surf 2025. I think it's a very rich release of ICEM Surf. It's It improves the workflow, and it's added the little requests of our users to our favorite software. So I hope you enjoy it. So there we are, Alan, back to you.
Thank you very much, Nick. Personally, I enjoyed it, so I hope our viewers too. And yeah, as you said, pretty rich release with a lot of new improvements. So I hope it will help our community of users as well to create better Class A models. So now it's time for the Q&A session. So we encourage you to take advantage of Nick's presence. So please don't hesitate to ask your questions in the chat, and we will answer them. And I have seen a lot of questions already in the chat during your presentation, and the transition is perfect because one of the questions was about how can I start using CATIA and ICEM Surf, which version should I use to start? And so the ICEM Surf Personal Learning Edition is exactly the purpose of it. So as Nick presented just earlier, you can just download the software on the link and start your journey. Use also the video to watch the tutorial, and also create your short model with a short exercise Nick created in the community.
Yes, Alan, I've just, while you were chatting, I've just gone to software.3ds.com. I've logged in with my email address, and here it is. So the free download tab, CATIA ICEM Surf, and here you can choose the version that you want. And you can see there's even a hotfix. So there was a small hotfix that we did. So ICEM Surf 2025.0.1. You hit this button here and it'll download it to your computer. You have to unzip it, agree to the T's and C's, of course, and then install it. And as long as your PC is a reasonable 3D computer, then it should work perfectly fine. If you've got any problems, you can just go to the community that we saw before. So the CATIA Creative Design and Styling community. And here you can meet experts and you can ask questions. So here you can, if you're having problems, you can just ask a question like this and then post it. And then someone like me or my team will come and try to help you out. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for this precision, Nick. And yes, also on the community, you have access to a lot of tutorials, tips and tricks, and videos to help you improving your knowledge on ICEM Surf. Okay, so let me check if there are other questions. Yeah, I've seen the questions also about personal learning edition. One person asked if it's trial version.
Right. Now that's a good question. We do of course offer evaluation licenses to our commercial customers, but the ICEM Surf Learning Edition is not a trial. It's a fully working license. It just works, and I'm not sure if I think it'll just work forever. I don't think it times out. I'm not sure about that, but I'll answer that question more. I'll check that and answer it in the community. But I think, yep, no, it's not a trial version. It'll just work without a license.
Okay. I hope this will be clear for the person who has the question. There is a question about the presentation. Where can I download the presentation to review the capabilities of ICEM? Will it be available in the community after this webinar?
I think, well, as I said, it's going to, the individual slides will be available under the surface refinement part of the wiki under ICEM Surf. So here you'll be able to get all the details. I have no plans to share the presentation as such, but it's certainly not impossible. So yeah, I think that should be okay. I can put a PDF up there because the PPT has a lot of videos inside. So it's very, very large. So I'll check into that too.
Okay. And yeah, that's why also, as you said, we created this wiki. So people can have access to all the highlights available in ICEM Surf 2025. And I see it's now available
Yes.
on the community. So that's perfect. You can
Yes.
now enjoy all the new improvements.
Yes, thanks to Sylvain for putting us all here. So inside all of these, you've got everything that I was talking about, including some of the videos. So even the stuff that I didn't mention is in here. So I think I only covered about half of the enhancements, to be honest. So there's lots of things going on. So here's one I didn't do, patch refit, for example. So this gives you the ability to really go through absolutely everything at your leisure, to see all the good new stuff in ICEM Surf 2025.
All right, very clear. Yeah, I see a lot of thanks to Nick for this great presentation. I think it was very well appreciated. Let me check if we have other questions. Yes, a question about access to this session. It will be accessible in the external CATIA community and on LinkedIn and YouTube as a replay. It will be available within the day in a few hours, so no worries about that. There is a question also, can I know how the animation here is different compared to other 3D softwares? That's a wide question.
Yeah, okay, so animation. So ICEM Surf's not really a fully blown animation package. There's no kinematics. So we have a turntable function, and we also have the ability to store views. So, and then you can animate between them. It's something I don't use terribly often, but here's the animation. So I can say I want to insert one view here, and then I can change my view. So this, by the way, the car is kind of flying in this scene with a shadow plane. And then I can insert another one like this, and then zoom out a little bit, and maybe go over here like so, and do another one. And then I can play that back. So we could, this is the extent of the animation we can do. In Reference Manager, it's possible to move a door to an open and closed state and flip between them, but again, it's not really animation. If I wanted to make a really attractive video presentation of my ICEM Surf model, I would take it into CATIA Product Perception Experience. And if you look back at, I think, the last design talk I did with Angel Guerra last year, you'll see how we used Product Perception Experience, or PPX, to make a really lovely interactive exploration of the model with the animated doors. And we can move the steering wheel and change all the material variants and the wheel variants and so on. So yeah, so ICEM Surf has some basic animation tools such as this, and combined with Reference Manager, you can make some powerful videos. But really, I would take it into 3D Experience for a more interactive experience.
Yeah, I will share the CATIA talk you did with Andrel last year, because it shows very well all this animation experience that you can have by combining ICEM Surf and PPX and the 3D Experience platform.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Any other questions before to close this masterclass for today? In any case, of course, if you have any additional questions, you can reach Nick and other experts in the community. We will share the link a bit later. So I don't see any other questions, so we can close, I think, for today. Thank you very much, Nick, for your time and participation. And a special thanks to all of you who watched this CATIA Design Masterclass, so this new format. So we hope you appreciated it and found it informative and engaging. And so, as I say, to access everything you need about ICEM Surf and CATIA, you can visit our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community with the link that is at the bottom of your screen right now, which will include the replay of the talk, but also tutorials, best practices, and the possibility to ask questions to Nick and other experts directly there. So as Nick presented, to join it's very simple. You just have to create an account with an email address and the password. Then you can log in and access to the community. Also, we would greatly appreciate your feedback in the comments to help us improve this new format. And we look forward to seeing you again at our next CATIA Design Masterclass. Until then, have a good day and goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. Cheerio.